A blue and white guard of honour as the bodies of Israeli hostages are finally returned home.
It's a very sad day for all of us. We hope that they will come back alive, all of them.
The convoy said to be carrying the remains of Shiri Bibas, her sons, 4-year-old Ariel and 9-month-old Kafir, and journalist Oded Lifshitz, arriving for formal identification. In Hostage Square, tears for those lost.
I've been thinking about that family every day since the war started. Like, I have my own son who's almost 4, and you can't bear to think about it.
Confirmation of Oded Lifshitz's death coming quickly.
This is a difficult moment for Mr. Lifshitz's family and the entire nation.
But just hours later, a bombshell. The remains of the Bibas children identified, with authorities revealing the body delivered alongside them is not their mother or any other hostage.
We will act with determination to bring Shiri home, along with all of our hostages, both living and dead, and ensure that Hamas pays the full price for this cruel and vicious violation of the agreement.
The handover of their remains is being criticised by the UN, labelling it degrading and a breach of international law.
The Secretary-General condemns the parading of bodies and displaying of coffins of the deceased hostages in this manner, which is both abhorrent and appalling.
The emotion of the day spilling over as thousands gathered in central Tel Aviv in vigil.
So, of course, the people who killed them are the Hamas terrorist group, but also the government of Israel didn't bring him back on time.
South in Gaza, Khalid Nassar digs through the rubble in Jabalia, trying to locate the remains of his son killed in an Israeli airstrike last year.
The house was bombed while he was showering inside. Perhaps I'll find his body to bury him.
Striving for a dignity that has been lacking for so many in this war.
Hamas was required to return deceased hostages as part of the ceasefire agreement. This development is raising concerns about the future of the fragile deal, which is readying to enter its second phase. Middle East correspondent Matthew Doran reports from Tel Aviv.
The news that Shiri Bibas was not returned alongside her 2 young sons has poured petrol on an already burning fire of anger here in Israel. There is much which can be said and should be said about the devastating loss of life during this war. But to prepare the family for the return of their loved one's remains, only to have that closure seemingly taken away, is another dark chapter in this conflict. Hamas says the 4 Israelis released yesterday were killed as a result of an Israeli airstrike. But the way in which this handover has been handled is Hamas's responsibility alone. It casts a long shadow over future hostage releases. 6 living Israelis scheduled to be freed tomorrow, the bodies of 4 more next week. And it's yet to be seen whether this will jeopardise that process, as well as the release of Palestinians held in Israeli jails. And as the talks on the future of the Gaza ceasefire continue, Israel is waking up to a potential new threat, with 3 empty buses exploding here in Tel Aviv last night, prompting the IDF to dramatically expand and increase the intensity of its anti-terror operations in the West Bank, an operation which has already displaced tens of thousands of Palestinians. It seems a lasting peace, or at the very least a period of relative calm, is a long way off.